Chair recognizes a leader on this issue, Mr. Biggs from Arizona.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Byer, how many individuals on the terrorist security data set have actually entered the United States since President Biden took office?
A couple hundred.
No. That's the number that we've actually interdicted. How many have come in? Do you know? You don't know, do you? Do you?
I know how many people Border Patrol has arrested.
You don't know how many have entered, though, do you? Come on, let's be honest. I don't know. You don't know.
I don't know.
And you got about 1.9 million, something like that, in known and unknown gotaways.
Yeah, I want Border Patrol.
And you don't know. You don't know.
To go after terrorists.
You don't know how many have come in.
We let people come into this country legally.
Answer the question, Mr. Byer.
I am answering the question.
No, you're not.
If people came into this country legally, we would have a much better, more secure border.
Mr. Byer, you don't know, do you?
I already answered the question.
Well, thank you. That was generous of you. Appreciate that. Have you ever been to the border and watched the current process that is gone through to issue a parole status to an illegal immigrant?
I've seen it on video, but no, I've not.
Not been down there, have you?
I've not personally witnessed it.
No, you haven't. Of course not. Of course you're not. But you're going to come here and testify that it's done on a case-by-case basis. You don't know jack squat about it. You haven't been down there. You haven't been down there.
On a case-by-case basis.
So, Mr. Holman, when we hear cruelty of separation of families, is it cruel to lose contact or communication or the known whereabouts of 100,000 children who came into the country unaccompanied by ORR?
Absolutely. We don't know who these children are, if they're safe. We know that some have been in forced labor. We know some have been forced sex slavery. So we know what's happened to some of them. So absolutely, it's cruel.
Is it cruel to place some of those children with people who turn out to be pedophiles, or literally place dozens of people with the same individual, which is ORR under Biden has done?
We know there's single males that have been given several female youth.
If you get parole, let's go back to parole. If you get parole, do you get legal work status for 2 years?
Yeah, yes, you can get work status. But two things we got fixed that was said that was wrong. First of all, most of the fentanyl does not come through the port of entry.
Yeah, I'll get to that. Let's get to the parole question.
Parole, yeah, when you get parole, you get work authorization, yeah.
For how long do you get to work, Mr. Edlow?
Congressman, I believe it's up to 2 years.
How many people in the illegal population that has been released into the country, that have been paroled into the country, are currently in the workforce and actually working jobs? Anybody know that? Nobody knows that. You know why? Because we don't keep contact with those people. We have no idea where they went. We've taken them and distributed them throughout the country. We don't know where they are, what they're doing. So last year, we had 888,000 people were naturalized in our legal process. In 2020, it was 625,000, but we also granted 440,000 lawful worker status, permanent resident status. So I guess there's so much to talk about here, but let's talk about fentanyl, because I'm really surprised because, Mr. Beer, I read your statement. You rely on data so much. I'm actually surprised that you're making the outrageous claim that 90% of the fentanyl comes through the port of entry. That's not true. 90% that we interdict is at a port of entry. But if you've never been down to the border, which I don't think you have, but if you've never been down to the border and literally driven for 30 miles and you don't even see a CBP agent, why? Because they're processing people, and you know the number of people that are coming across that don't want to be caught. You got to understand, and I think Mr. Holman will back me up on this, that it is between the ports of entry is where the people are bringing the fentanyl in. Is that not true, Mr. Holman?
I spent 3 decades investigating criminal cartels that smuggle narcotics into the United States. They will use a route of least resistance. Will they go through a port of entry when every vehicle stopped, every driver spoken to, and then based on the CBP enforcement database, which I can't discuss, but when they put a license plate number in, it may say, this is someone you want in the secondary, and plus responses from the driver. Every vehicle is stopped. Between the ports of entry, when 70 to 90% of the agents are off the line, and in several instances, nobody's on the line, that's when the criminal cartel is going to move the fentanyl. If you look at fentanyl seized by the Border Patrol and Maritime, by the Coast Guard, extremely high numbers. It's not a coincidence. When you have 70 to 90% of agents off the line, you got record fentanyl overdose deaths. It doesn't take a genius to figure out where it's coming.
Yield.